My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Ice Sheet on Rimworld. We start this episode with Cobra heading over to this little steel vein just to the east of our base, just to do a little bit of mining because at the end of the last episode we had actually ran out of our steel reserves and we do need to top them up for future expansion and construction efforts. So it's going to allow Cobra the time to mine out the remaining chunks in this vein. There's about four blocks, 4 tiles to go, and it won't take too long to get through all of this. At the end of the last episode we moved the roof from our little clothing stockpile zone, as you may recall, and that's in an effort to encourage the clothing that we have there to deteriorate in the outdoor elements, because most of it is tattered or tainted, and it's not something that's going to do Cobra any favours by wearing it. And given that we can't sell most of this, we may as well just let it fade away. So with the steel chunks mined out, Cobra's going to do a little bit of research. We've not done that for a couple of days now, so it's probably a good idea to get some of that taken care of just to continue our progression through the tech tree. At the moment we are researching basic prosthetics, and we're coming up to about 50% completion on that research project, so hopefully a couple of days left and we'll have unlocked the secret of basic prosthetics, and that's going to take us one step closer to advancing to the next tech level, which is the medieval era. However, time is now getting late and Cobra does need his rest, so after a quick meal it's off to bed for the night. Overnight we've had a cluster of cargo pods drop onto the map, and they are containing clothing, so let's see what drops here. A pair of wolfskin boots, we may as well grab those. However, Cobra is prioritising a bit of research for the time being, but I think we will go out and order him to retrieve the boots and bring them back, so we'll prioritise hauling those now. One thing I'm going to do is on this stockpile zone here, uncheck the allow clean apparel. That means only the tainted clothing from corpses will now be stored here to deteriorate. Anything else we'll store it elsewhere. After all, the tainted apparel would give us a bit of a negative modifier, I think. And given that we can't sell it to any passing caravans or our nearest neighbours, as we said, we may as well just let it rot away. So Cobra has equipped the wolfskin boots that we just collected, so that was a worthwhile trip. Now there was a seal on the map. In fact, there it is there. There's also a dead colonist up here who we will want to haul back so we can butcher the corpse and add it to our stockpile. So what we'll do is actually prioritise the hauling of... is it Pepper? It is Pepper, yes. We'll prioritise the hauling of Pepper back to our stockpile. Obviously he is frozen, so he won't spoil in that regard, but he will deteriorate out on the ice sheet. As you can see here, he's down to 80 out of 100 hit points. We don't want to leave him out here any more than we have to. What do we have here? A bodyguard named Dumbo has arrived and wants to join. She is willing to contribute and will not leave voluntarily. So let's accept Dumbo to our colony, to our ranks, and we'll take a look at her biography. I mean, you can see her skills here. Decent shooting and melee, so she makes a good fighter, and she isn't too bad at construction work either. She's incapable of social work, so trading and wardening. She does have a chemical interest, which is a little bit annoying, but she does have 2 very good traits here, jogger and sanguine. Both of those are very useful. The movement speed is good, and the plus 12 permanent mood effect is excellent. Her ideology does not permit cannibalism. However, we do have plenty of bear meat, as we can see here. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll actually let her join proper, rather than just slaughtering her straight away. And she can be an extra pair of hands. Hopefully she'll work out better than Itamu did. Obviously the permanent plus 12 mood boost is, or should, keep away any unwanted mental breaks. or at least keep them few and far between, unlike Katamu, who would have their mental breaks all the while. So let's assign her this bed. There we go, so Dumbo now has her own bedroom. And what we'll do also is just go through... We'll go through her job priorities. Now, she is fairly decent at construction, so we'll set that to high priority. We'll also set mining, because an extra pair of hands to mine is always quite useful. She isn't too bad at cooking, so we'll put that to number 2. Research is poor, so I think we might leave that. We'll boost the cleaning a little and the hauling. I think that should be adequate for now. Just having a quick look through here. Yes, I think that will do us quite well for now. In terms of her cold survivability, she can withstand negative 36 degrees. Now, that's not the best, so we might want to craft her some better cold insulating gear. So we'll do that in the morning with Cobra. And I think we'll also have her... Does she have any weapons equipped? It doesn't look like it, so we will equip the auto pistol for Dumbo. And that extra pair of hands, in terms of fighting off raids and what have you, is going to come in handy. We've had a Caravan moose wander onto the map as well. So let's equip the auto pistol. We'll allow Dumbo to carry on with her butchering work here. What's up with her mood? Okay, it's the observing the corpses and the unsightly environment and the tainted boots which are really causing issues for Dumbo. So let's see if we can have Cobra do something about that. Have some breakfast first. And what we'll do, we'll get Cobra to craft. I think we'll make 1 pelt mantle for Dumbo. That'll help her cold insulation. A pelt cap. And some pelt boots. And what we don't want to use is the human leather, because that wouldn't sit well with Dumbo, I don't believe. So we'll change all this to disallow the human leather. Hopefully we have enough bear skin and the likes to craft these 3 items, but we'll see how far we get anyway. So Cobra can start work on crafting clothing for Dumbo while she butchers the remaining corpses in the stockpile. Again, she's not going to enjoy this work at all, as we can see, so even the sanguine mood boost isn't helping her at the moment. However, once all the butcher work's done, then it's done, isn't it? And that negative 12 mood modifier will disappear in time, and hopefully she won't have to worry about it after that, because all the corpses have been handled. Looks like she's also hypothermic. Indeed, she is seriously hypothermic, so that could be a concern. So Cobra does want to get those clothes crafted as quickly as possible. Okay, so that's the pelt mantle created. Now it's time for the pelt hat. Dumbo is... Oh, she's going into the steam geyser room just to warm up a little. That makes sense. We'll allow that. We don't want her to pass away from hypothermia too quickly. So it looks like, even though I would like Dumbo to remain with us, she may not be long for this world, unfortunately. Let's do what we can to keep her going, though. We'll tend to her injuries. If nothing else, it's going to give Cobra a nice boost to his medical skills, so it's well worth it from that point of view, if nothing else. Cobra's also feeling very unhappy at the moment. I think a bit of recreation play should sort that out. So let's allow him to play a bit of hoopstone before he heads off to bed. Not too concerned about his sleep schedule at the minute. It is 1 AM, but I'd rather get his mood up as best we can. So that's the temperature handled as far as Dumbo's concerned by equipping this cloth parka. That sends her down to a maximum of negative 56, or a minimum of negative 56, I suppose is the technical way to describe that. The only concern is the infection. How is it doing? So the infection is outpacing the immunity, it seems, so we do have to keep an eye on that. can tend to that as soon as we can. We'll allow self-tend as well, so she can tend to her own wounds. So it's 7 AM. Cobra hasn't had a full night's sleep, but we will disturb him, just so he can tend to Dumbo. Okay, it looks like the immunity is now catching up with the infection, so she may survive this if we can keep on top of the treatment regime. Cobra will continue his work crafting the clothing for Dumbo. And it looks like the moose that did wander onto the map has now wandered off as well. What's this? So a downed ship is landing nearby. We may want to check that out, but it's not something I'm going to prioritise too highly. Okay, so Dumbo can be tended to now, so we'll prioritise that. We really want to make sure this infection doesn't claim her life. Obviously, it is in the lap of the gods, so to speak. Let's see how we're looking. Yes, it does look like the infection is still outpacing the immunity, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe we'll get a lucky break, though. Let's just get rid of all this clothing that's been dumped on the floor here. So it can be tended in 5 hours. And it does look like, unfortunately, that Dumbo is going to pass away. And now she's dropped into a murderous rage, which is great. So we have to be very careful here. She is a decent shooter. So I think what we'll do, we'll get Cobra to make a break for it, so to speak. I wonder if we can disallow use of that door and force Dumbo through the trapped corridor. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. So that's the end of her murderous rage, because she has now collapsed on the ice sheet. As a bit of revenge, we'll have Cobra finish her off, so unfortunately she wasn't destined for our colony for very long. We did try, but at least now we have some... In fact, no, we don't have some decent clothing for our next new arrival, because it's now classed as tainted, because she died in them. However, lesson learned, so next time we'll make sure we get these items of clothing crafted a lot quicker and a lot sooner. That way the hypothermia won't claim our next colonist who decides to join. As we can see in the top corner, a lot of the clothing is now deteriorating outside, which is great, and that's what we want it to do. So Cobra wakes up fully rested. He's had a little breakfast, and we'll let him do a bit of hoopstone play to get his recreation bar filled as much as possible. And then we'll get Dumbo's corpse and this auto pistol hauled back to our stockpile, as well as this corpse of Tapir here, who's been left outside for several days now. May as well bring her in as well, so prioritise hauling and hauling. And then we can turn our attention to the research. We want to allow use of this door now, because we don't want Cobra to trigger the trap on his way in and out hauling these corpses. Okay, so Cobra has lymphatic mechanites. Let's see. So that causes mild pain. It does boost his movement, blood filtration, blood pumping and metabolism. But it obviously does cause him pain, which is only going to get worse. So we'll probably want to tend those mechanites, although I do think it's a very long tending process. However, I don't think the mechanites are fatal, so we don't have to worry about them claiming Cobra's life. But they're not going to do any wonders for his mood at the moment. So first round of treatment. Quality of 24% isn't bad. The only problem with this now is Cobra is going to be tempted to bed rest quite frequently because of the mechanites, because it's classed as an illness. And we now have a raid as well. So this is a group of pirates from the Grey Crushers. Okay, they're attacking immediately. And there's quite a few of them. That's 4. That's the largest raid we've had so far. I guess all that jade that we have in our stockpile is boosting our colony wealth quite a lot. We've also got a couple of Ravagers on the map as well. I wonder if they... Oh, that is almost perfect spawn point, because they're now focusing it on the Raiders. So that's going to thin out the Raiders, hopefully. And if they do take care of the Ravagers and kill them, so be it. I wasn't going to keep them around anyway. So 2 of the Raiders are already bleeding out thanks to the Ravager, so that's good. If nothing else, it's keeping them very occupied. These Ravagers do take a lot of punishment, as we can see. Okay, so that's the first Ravager down, so that's the end of that one. Or it will be in a few hours once it bleeds out. But it has done a fair amount of damage to the raiding party, as we can see there. And it now looks like they're going for the second Ravager. So this might be one of the easiest large raids that Cobra ever has to deal with, thanks to the fortuitous timing and arrival of the 2 Ravagers. Let's see what happens here. That's 1 down, and they've dropped 5 units of medicine, which is great. We're going to get that. We'll also get a single unit of wood as well. We shall have Cobra strip the first downed raider of their clothing while they're still alive. That way the clothing won't be tainted, so it can be used by either Cobra or any future colonists who happen to join. That's a second raider incapacitated, and the third one is dead. And number 4 is now fleeing the scene. In fact, the third raider there had their head taken off by the Ravager, so good work there, Ravager. And it's even survived. It has 22 conditions that need tending, but I don't think there's anything life-threatening there. We're certainly not going to rush and tend to the Ravager anyway. We'll also strip this second raider here. And again, that's just so their clothing isn't classed as tainted when they perish. And we'll allow selection of... Not so fussed about the weapons, if I'm honest. We will get the wood. It's only 2 units, but it's better than nothing. And we'll prioritise hauling all these things back now. What do we have there, actually? Psychotropic fungus. What's this? So, Purple Liebird, High Chief of the Engo Alliance, is asking for a favour. This would allow us to take a new colonist. However, they are incapable of dumb labour, which is not great. However, the high intellectual skill is quite nice. But I think we'll disregard that quest. That's a few of the items returned to our stockpile zone. We'll now take care of Cobra's mood because he isn't feeling the best at the moment, as we can see. So we'll have some bear meat for our breakfast. And then we'll send Cobra off to sleep. As we can see, he's not slept overnight and his rest bar is very low, as is his overall mood, thanks to the -10 from the mechanites. However, we can't do any tending for those for another 2.5 days, so we're just going to have to live with the mechanites. But at least next time we do have some proper medicine, rather than just the herbal medicine, so hopefully the next round of treatment will be even better than the last. We don't want to tend to the Ravagers, as harsh as that may be. I do think it's a waste of medicine, and it's not something, or they're not creatures that we want to keep around long term anyway. Obviously they did serve a nice purpose attacking the raiding party for us. So after a bit of social relaxation by himself, we'll have a bit of rhino meat, and then Cobra can go about his day. So there we go, that's one of the Ravagers now dead. Yes, it is a bit of a shame, but I'm not overly concerned. Looks like the other Ravager will be gone soon as well. It's bleeding out in 15 hours. As we can see here, the 2 raiders have also passed away, so we'll go and get their corpses hauled back. No, we don't want to consume them, we want to haul them. There we go, so we'll haul all 3. What do we have here? We have a cave bear on the map. We shall probably go and hunt that cave bear. I imagine it's going to provide us quite a lot of meat and leather. Yes, it is. That's going to sustain us for a good while. The seal is still lurking around. We want to take care of that as well. However, I'll take the cave bear as a priority. How's Cobra doing? Not too bad. Obviously his mood is awful, thanks to the pain. So that's our Ravager down and incapacitated. It's going to bleed out in 8 hours, so we'll just leave it to it. Cobra's mood is still pretty poor. I think we'll have a little bit of human meat this time. And then we'll do a bit of hoopstone play just to try and boost his mood as much as we can. And then tomorrow we shall go and hunt... Oh, well, that's just what we needed, a psychic drone. So that's likely going to see Cobra enter a mental breakdown. And here it is. He's having a tantrum. Now, let's see if we can forbid these doors. Or will that have no... No, that's had no effect. Oh, that's fine. As long as he doesn't break the butcher's table, I don't really care. At the moment, it looks like he's focusing his rage on piles of meat and dead corpses. But that's the tantrum now over. No serious damage done, so that's fine. Got away with that one, I think. So back off to bed, and hopefully that catharsis boost will keep Cobra in a decent mood for the next couple of days. And there's the other Ravager now dead. So that's both Ravagers gone. Thank you for your efforts there, thinning out the raiding party. It was much appreciated. Certainly saved us a job. And also meant we didn't have to rearm any of our traps because they were never triggered in the first place. So, bit of a nice little bonus there. Okay, at this point I think we'll go and hunt down the cave bear. Like I said, they do drop a decent amount of food and leather, so it'd be silly to let it wander off the map. We'll also take the seal down at some point as well, although that's less urgent than the cave bear. So let's see how this little encounter goes, shall we? As expected, the cave bear is immediately seeking revenge. It's had a shot already. Movement speed is 4.6, so I do think that is faster than Cobra, so we have to be careful here. Yes, it is, although not by much. However, obviously every successful hit should slow the cave bear down a little more each time. There we go, that's that cave bear taken care of. Let's allow it and haul it back to our little base. There we go, here's Cobra now with the cave bear. And in fact, while we're thinking about it, let's get some of these corpses butchered up to boost our meat reserves. Not that we have a shortage at the moment, obviously, as we can see. Lots of full piles in there. But we may as well get rid of the corpses just to free up the space and boost our leather reserves. So that's a psychic drone also over, which is going to help Cobra's mood. And what's this? Arco Panda sitting, so they want us to take care of an Arco Panda. I don't know what sort of care and attention they require, so I'm going to dismiss that for now. I don't think it's the sort of thing that Cobra really wants to be distracting himself with at the moment. Obviously when we're more established we can take on more quests. But for now, I think we'll just ignore most of them unless they have an immediate and tangible benefit. So that's all the butchering taken care of. We have plenty of meat and leather now, not that we didn't before anyway, but we've topped it up as much as we can. And that's all the tainted clothing left outside to perish in the elements as well. As we can see, we do have two very nice parkas here, a cloth parka and a muffler wool parka. So if we do get another colonist in the near future, there's plenty of choice for them for their cold protection. The mittens will also help as well, as would the sheep wool tribal poncho, so we should avoid what happened to Dumbo next time around. Obviously, if it wasn't for the hypothermia, Dumbo would still be with us, because it was the hypothermia that led to the infection. So we'll send Cobra off to bed. It's only midday, but he is extremely exhausted, which isn't helping his mood. So we'll let him have a couple hours sleep, maybe wake up about 4 o'clock. and then carry on with our day. We want to do some hoopstone play to boost his recreation bar as well to help his mood. And then I think we'll spend a few hours at the research table. As we can see, we're very close to finishing basic prosthetics now. And the sooner we can hit that medieval era, the better, just for the really useful techs that it unlocks. Okay, so let's go to the research table now. Try and get this finished today. I think we should do. We only need another 15 or so points, and we do accumulate points pretty quickly these days. As we can see, our intellectual skill is almost up to level 12. And we didn't get it done today, but we've another 10 or so minutes at the table. We should be unlocking the secrets of basic prosthetics. So our seal still hasn't wandered off yet, which is good. So if we do want to hunt that down, it's still there for us. We can tend to our infection. They're mechanites, as we can see. And that was a 34% 10 quality, which is excellent. Would have been nice to perhaps use the proper medicine, because that might have boosted it, but it is what it is. So we'll send Cobra to the research bench now to try and get these prosthetics finished off. And there we go. So let's see what to focus on next. We could get beer brewing just to get it out of the way, to be another one ticked off. However, cheekily, we can get this one here, which is only 100 research points. And it is classed as a Neolithic tech as well, so let's do that. A little bit gamey perhaps, but you gotta play the system sometimes. Things are rotting away nicely in our little dumping garbage pile up there, which is good. Down here, still got a bit of space in our own stockpile. Might be worth forming another caravan in the near future. We have plenty of meat to sustain us, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get rid of some of this jade and these organs, just to try and reduce our colony wealth a little. And then we could top up our wood supply and maybe get some more medicine as well. So in fact, I think we'll do that. We'll have a bite to eat, and then we shall form a trade caravan. So, world map. Okay, so we want to form a caravan. We're heading to our neighbours up here, except, yes, you are coming, Cobra. Okay, in terms of travel supplies, we'll select it ourselves, so we'll set all this to 0. We want the bedroll, obviously. We'll take the herbal medicine, and in terms of food, let's take the rhino meat, and we'll take, say, 75, one full stack. Although that's only 2.3 days worth of food. Let's go for 150. That gives us about 5 days worth of food. Now, in terms of what we're selling, as we said, we want to sell the jade, as well as these organs here. And that's just to try and reduce our overall colony wealth, because as we saw, the raids are getting a little stronger and a little more well equipped. So let's take as much of the jade as we can. Only 93 units. So this would take us 3.3 days. That's enough to get there with the food we have. We can always buy some more food from our neighbours when we get there, so let's strike out on our way. Hopefully this time we won't be attacked or ambushed halfway through our journey. Although the last ambush that we did have on our last caravan trip, it wasn't too much of an arduous task to deal with them. So what we'll do then, once Cobra's on his way, we'll have a little cut in the episode, and hopefully, barring any incidents, we shall pick it back up as soon as he gets there. So partway through the journey, Cobra has had a mental break and is wandering around in a daze. Obviously there's nothing we can do about that, so that will freeze the caravan's progress for a short while. Okay, so that's Cobra's mental breakdown over and done with. As we can see, we did burn through a lot of our food reserves there. We only have 0.8 days worth of food left, and the time to destination is 0.9 days. Hopefully we won't suffer from too much starvation, however. We are nearly there, and we can purchase some food from our neighbours once we arrive. So what I've done, I've set caravan orders to never rest, so Cobra will now complete the journey without stopping anymore. Back home we have another raid, although this is just a solitary pirate. So our little defensive fortifications should take care of this raid for us on our behalf. And when we come back we should have a nice new corpse to add to our little larder. So they're beginning their assault, so let's head back to base and see what happens here. As predicted, the steel traps did their job for us, so we have a corpse waiting for us when we get back. In the meantime, Cobra has almost reached our neighbours there, 0.1 days to go, and then we can start our trade. Food and wood are the order of the day on this little trading excursion. So let's begin and let's see. So we want to sell all of the jade. They only have 108 silver. Let's see here. Obviously we need some food for the journey back, so let's grab some of that. In fact, let's just take it all. That's 6.8 days worth of food. That's going to cost us 457 silver, that's fine. We'll take all the medicine as well. In terms of wood, do you have any for us this time? Doesn't actually look like... Oh yes, you do down here. So let's sell all of the organs. And how much wood can we take? Far too much, so let's zero that. And in fact, what's adding all the weight? I guess the sheep meat is adding quite a bit of weight. So we'll drop that down to 5 days worth of food. There we go. We'll zero off the medicine as well, and we'll just say take 10 units of medicine, and the rest we shall fill up on wood. So can we take 150? No, not quite. Okay, there we go, 85 kilograms. That should be fine. Let's top up a little bit more. Oh no, it's just a bit too much there. There we go, so that's 5.3 days worth of food. However, they can't afford this trade, as we can see quite clearly. So then, let's see. Let's keep there. Yes, we'll sell the eyeball. We'll keep the lung, heart and liver. Obviously that's now sent us over our max capacity once again. So let's drop off some of the wood. Till we get to 85. There we go. So 100. In fact, we'll take it to around 100. Why not? And I think that will do us. 5.3 days worth of food. Let's accept that trade. We could get a slave if we wanted to. Let's have a look. Ooh, now this is quite interesting because this is a cannibalistic tribe, so they wouldn't mind the human meat consumption. Decent medical skill as well, which could come in handy. And they're not incapable of anything. Maybe we actually pick ourselves up a slave, and then we can sell a few more of the organs, like that. That also boosts our carry capacity. So let's get more meat. That's only 3.4 days worth of food. Do they have any pemmican at all? I don't think they do. I don't see any other foodstuffs on offer. Let's take the backpack as well. No, I don't see that they have any other food we could pick up. Obviously they have the chocolate, but that doesn't really add much to your food bar, although it does do wonders for your mood. Perhaps we take some chocolate as well. Take all of the chocolate. That's going to cost us 159 silver for the trade. So what if we also sell the liver? Then we've got about 700 silver to make up. We could make that up with some more wood. That's never a bad thing. Could we get to 200? No, we can't. It's too heavy. 175, yes. 4.3 days worth of food. Is that going to be enough to get us back? That's the question. We also, though, well, they can't afford to conduct this trade, so we would sell this at a loss. Let's have a look at the other prisoner here that we could get. Great plant skill, which is now useless for us at the moment. New Super Weishmeier. Also a cannibalistic religion. That's interesting. How, although yes, the undergrounder trait will help her mood, because obviously we do live in an underground base. But the skills aren't the best, not the best skill set, not the most useful skill set anyway. So I think we shall stick with Finch. We'll take Finch. Shall we also take an animal, which we could possibly butcher? Well, we definitely will butcher. Let's say we'll take the female yak. That boosts our movement speed and our carry capacity, so we could get even more wood now. Let's do that. Can we say take 250? We absolutely can. About 350. Still can. It's only going to cost us 200. That's a lot of wood. I think we'll do that trade. Not sure if that's enough to make it back, but we shall see. So let's accept that trade. There we go. That's a very successful trade there. Let's reform the caravan and head back. So, Cobra's caravan is going to take us 3.4 days to get there. Apparently we have 0.2 days worth of food. I thought we just bought some. That's a bit strange. Let's see here. We can't see the items we have with us. Where's the food gone that we just purchased? What's happened to it? So the yak is starving. What we could do, although we need the yak for the carry capacity, as we can see it's carrying an extra 73 kilos here. We'll just see what happens. I'm not sure why it's saying we have no food. Did we just eat it all already? Dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's see. No, we have all this food here. Why is this not being classed as edible for the caravan? I don't know. Let's just see what happens here. Maybe it's... Oh, I know. I guess what it is, yes. So this is, at least, you know, whichever person and or animal would starve to death first, and for us it is the yak. Finch is also suffering from hypothermia, which is great. What's this here? No, we'll disregard that. We're too far from our base to worry about that. Finch has collapsed, which is not the best. They may die before we even get there, which is definitely not what we want, because they could have come in handy for us. Yep, so that's Finch down. We're now immobile because the caravan is now too heavy. Brilliant. Let's see. So we're going to have to drop some stuff here, aren't we? Okay, we'll leave you there. Yes, that's a shame. That didn't go to plan at all, did it? Oh dear. What else? It's not adding much, but we may as well drop the clothing because it's only going to take up space in our stockpile when we get back. So we'll dump all of that. Don't want to dump the wood. I'm going to have to dump some of it though, because we need to shed about 22 kilograms here, so we'll drop the smoke cleaf. We don't want to take those with us. Again, it's not adding much, but what the heck, we'll get rid of it anyway. Let's drop some of the wood. We could drop the silver. We'll dump all the silver. That might seem a bit odd, but in a roundabout kind of way, I do think the wood is more valuable to us than the silver. We could always get more silver by selling more organs. So we only need to shed now another, what's that, 9 kilograms. So let's see here. If we say drop 10 units of wood, if I can get to 10, there we go. So we still need to shed another 5. So we'll do the same again. Another 10. One more. Okay, so maybe 4. Almost. Another 4. And there we go. So, on your way please, Caravan. So, our efforts to boost our colony numbers aren't going well this episode. Both people we had, one was a slave obviously, and one was somebody who joined. Both of them succumbed to hypothermia to one extent or another. Hopefully we can get back to our base now without any further issues. We're going to get back in 2.5 days. We'll now turn off the never rest, so the caravan will rest overnight now. So yeah, 2.3 days travel time. What's this here? A group of bison have wandered in? Oh well, one bison has. Hopefully that will still be there when we get back. That's going to give us a lot of meat and leather. Plus the bison wool, I guess it's going to... Oh no, it's only plain leather that they drop. Okay, I thought they might have some special insulated furs or leathers, but it's just plain leather, but oh well. So back on the world map, we can see the caravan is approaching now. 2 days to go. Oh no, we have a drought on the ice sheet. Whatever will we do? Let's just see if the bison is still knocking around. It is. Looks like about halfway through the journey back now, so we'll rejoin the action either at the next notable event or when Cobra gets back to his little base. Okay, so Cobra has returned. Unfortunately, the bison didn't hang around on the map, it's left. The seal that was on the map, however, has succumbed to a trap, so we have the corpse and a seal to butcher up. So Cobra's now on his way back. We'll set the yak to be slaughtered ASAP. As we can see, Cobra is suffering quite poorly here. The intense pain and the lack of recreation isn't doing him any favours at all. So we need to get his mood boosted as quickly as we can before we have a mental break. Oh dear. So what's happened here? Okay, he's become catatonic because of poor mood, so he's had a mental break here. But very, very fortunately, the man in black has arrived. So here we go. Here's Mouse, Aaron, Banmar. Let's have a look at their social skill. Their bio. So great memory, so they won't lose their skills as quickly. They are sickly, however, but that does give them a +4 boost to their medical skill. They are cannibalistic, so fantastic. They can fit in quite nicely. So perhaps, we finally got the colonist we wanted. Decent minimum comfortable temperature. Hopefully they will equip some of the clothing in our stockpile zone to boost that a little bit further. Looks like they're going to. So we'll let them get themselves properly equipped for the ice sheet here. There we go. So now that sets them to -64, so they're not going to become hypothermic like everybody else who's joined our colony. So Cobra can now be rescued and tended to by Iron Banmar. and Iron Bama is then going to go off and slaughter the yak, which is absolutely fine. We'll have them equip the auto pistol as well, although they already do have a hand cannon. So, we actually do have our second colonist, and it looks like somebody who may fit in very, very nicely indeed. So, third time's a charm, as we can hopefully tell here. Obviously Dumbo didn't last too long because of the infection from the hypothermia. Our slave that we purchased from our friends lasted about 30 minutes before freezing to death during their journey back with the caravan. But here we go now with Iron Banmal, and we'll see how they fit in, but all that's going to be in future episodes. So we'll call it a day here now, I think. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been quite eventful for one reason or another. Hopefully ended on a bit of a positive note here, with the man in black joining us and sticking around. Obviously Cobra's not doing too great at the moment, but once they snap out of this funk we should be okay. So yes, it's been an interesting one. I hope you've enjoyed it. All that remains for me to say right now, however, is you take very good care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It's ta-ta for now.